into to keeping cleaner bottles of scotch.
I'm sorry. I will treat it better in the future.
Treat it like a lady.
Well,
you wouldn't let your wife get that dusty.
I should have cleaned that bottle off before I brought it over.
Polished it
Didn't
off.
know that was going to be a...
It looks like an antique.
It's been aged. I thought whiskey was better when it was aged. Obviously, that is a sign of aging. That should be a sign of a higher quality whiskey.
Well,
hi everyone, and welcome to Awesome Hardware. We should be live on YouTube now, so thanks to all of you guys for joining us. This is a live tech show. We stream every Tuesday evening to twitch.tv/awesomehardware, as well as our individual YouTube channels. My channel is Paul's Hardware. That's where we're streaming the first half of this episode, which is number 198. Closing in on 200. We stream every Tuesday evening. I already said that, didn't I? Anyway, second half's on Kyle's. Second half will be on Kyle's channel. That's linked in the description, as well as the after party, where we will answer questions if questions come in. We do that in the after party, as well as shout out your name if you happen to purchase anything from our store while we're live, or just recently. My store is paulshardware.net. High quality merchandise available there for you. So buy it if you want, and I will say thank you. Shirts, mugs, pint glasses. No beanies though. We're sold out of those. We should restock those before winter comes. Kyle's store is bitwit.tech/store. He has lots of stuff there as well.
And if you buy something, if you buy something for me, I will not say thank you.
Why not?
I just need to balance out your gratefulness with my sense of entitlement.
Shirts like this Screw with Confidence shirt, which I'm wearing right now, which is giving me the confidence to screw this up real good.
That's right. Buy that shirt. I will not thank you.
Speaking of the beer I just drank, we do drink some beer on the show. And we occasionally use adult language, so this is a show intended for adults. You should only watch it if you're an adult, or if you think like an adult, or if you need an adult.
Or if you have an adult's permission.
Yes, with the permission of a parent or legal guardian.
Must be this tall to ride.
Yeah, we do have this. I guess we do also have this $2 Chuck Chardonnay here.
What's the story behind that?
Tap for today. Well, my wedding was a classy affair, very classy. And
I was there. It was.
You were there.
Very classy.
We provided only the best in libations for our guests, which meant $2 bottles of wine available from Trader Joe's. $2 Chuck, as it's known, Charles Shaw. We drank a lot of them. I mean, a decent amount got drank at the wedding. We kept drinking them afterwards because we had leftovers, and then just, I don't know, some of the whites that we're not as partial to ended up getting stashed away. And I just recently found the Chardonnay.
So that's supposed to be white?
I mean, it's a white. It's not like white, but it's usually a bit lighter colored than this.
Right.
So we're not sure as to the...
It might be the bottle color. It's hard to say what's what.
Who knows? But
we might be tapping into that at some point, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, no promises, but we'll see. We'll see how things go.
I'll give it a shot. Also, yeah. Paul brought his bottle of 12-year Highland Park single malt Scotch whiskey.
Indeed.
This is the dustiest bottle of Scotch, unopened Scotch I've ever seen.
Really?
It looks like it was stolen from an old-timey museum.
You know, when stuff's on the top shelf, when it's top shelf liquor, you know, it can get a little dusty. Goes along with it.
I can write my name in the bottle. I actually just tweeted a picture, a close-up macro shot of the bottle and how dusty it is. Go check it out.
And as I pointed out earlier,
disturbing.
Scotch, you know, aged Scotch is better. So obviously that is a sign of age and a sign of quality. Anyway,
I don't know about that.
Cheers. You don't have anything to drink.
Oh, that's why I got the Highland Park.
Cheers to all of you guys. Thanks for being here.
I mean, it's 12 year. Yeah, I've actually never had Highland Park.
We'll get refilled in.
I am planning
just a moment.
I am keeping an open mind here. I just hope a pile of dust doesn't fall into my drink when I pour it.
Well, if you know how to pour Scotch, then you should be fine.
No,
right?
Every bottle has its limits.
Okay. All right, let's get into the tech news, because that's theoretically what people are here to talk about. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people are here to watch us get a little shitty.
We could probably do this for the next 2 hours and no one would care.
That's fine.
They don't expect anything of us.
That's true. But I did preparation, so I'm going to talk about the stuff I prepared for. I have two segments for today's show. We have the news, of course, and then the second segment is going to be the classic Ask the Audience question. Let me interpret the name of that segment for you. We ask the audience questions. So the questions are all related to the news stories I'm talking about, though. To give you guys time to vote on them, we're going to give you the Ask the Audience questions as I'm going through the news stories. It took a ton of planning to put this all together, so I hope you appreciate
hard work.
The level of effort.
Hard work doing what we're doing right now.
Anyway, let's cover this first story first of all, which is about AMD Rome.
That's really good, actually.
Of course it is. I mean, obviously, I'm offended that you shat on the fact that there's a little bit of dust on the top, but I'm glad that you.
Yeah, I can taste the dust that was on the outside of the bottle.
You can't taste
from the liquid that's inside of it. That's how dusty it was.
You shouldn't be able to. That's not.
You should be ashamed.
This is second generation EPYC. EPYC is AMD's name for their server processors. They've had EPYC already. Excuse me. It's already existed. This is the second generation of it, though. It's exciting because looks like some oil splattered on this heat spreader there. Anyway, it's exciting because you have insanely high core counts, and it's using the new 7 nanometer Zen 2 architecture, which the Ryzen 3000 series of CPUs are based on, which launched a month or two ago, and have been very well received. Very good chips, very fast, much improved IPC performance. Very good when it comes to power draw as well. Power draw is a significant factor when it comes to data center usage, and that's what EPYC is for. AMD's performance in the data center has not been all that great, though. They had Opteron back in the day, in the mid to late 2000s. That was viable, but they didn't really follow it up with anything, so it sort of petered out and hasn't really been even available, I don't think, for like a good 4 or 5 years. When EPYC Naples, which is the codename of the first gen of EPYC, launched, it did claw them back a little bit of market share. But the enterprise market is finicky. Not finicky. They like long-term reliability, so they're not necessarily going to jump on and make a bunch of investments in something like first gen EPYC because they're like, well, what if it sucks, or what if there's some hidden problems with it or something that's going to suss out down the line. But fortunately, that hasn't been the case. EPYC Naples still doing great from my understanding. So the second generation has a lot of potential. Second gen Rome, as I already mentioned, based on 7 nanometer Zen 2 architecture. The improved Zen 2 core is going to give you 15% better IPC performance over Naples. So yeah.
So these are just like beefed up Ryzen 3000 chips, right?
Well, technically, it's like a bunch of Ryzen 3000. Here, let me show you the picture here.
Look at them chiplets.
I believe that's Ian. No. Sorry, I thought it was Ian's hand at first. It might be Ian taking the picture.
It doesn't look like Ian's hair.
Well, anyway, doesn't matter. This
too thin.
Story, I should mention, is Johan de Galas.
Maybe that's whose hair it is.
Is who wrote this story. I don't think. Anyway, here is a look at the actual chip. What's under the heat spreader, and what you have are Ryzen chiplets, or Zen 2 chiplets. So each of these chiplets is the same chiplet that would go into,
3950X or something.
Well, a 3900 or a 3950X would have 2 of them.
Right.
But one of them is what you get with most 8-core or less Ryzen 3000 CPUs. What they've done is taken up to 8 of them to put them on a single substrate here, and then in the middle here they have this I/O die. So all these little chiplets on the outside are 7 nanometer. Zen 2. The I/O die here is actually based on 14 nanometer, and that actually has some advantages for them in the manufacturing side of things, and it kind of gets things done. I'm going to come back to that in just a second.
It's like a chiplet orgy on that die.
It is kind of like a chiplet orgy. Did want to talk about the layout a little bit more. First gen EPYC had non-uniform memory access because you had
NUMA.
Yes, you had these CCX. You had up to 4 dies because you had up to 32 cores rather than 64 now, and you had 8-channel memory, but only 4 channels available to each die, I believe is how it played out. Anyway, and now we have a central I/O chip that everything goes through, so you don't have that NUMA memory access anymore. At least if you're using a single processor. If you're using more than one processor, because there are 2 socket platforms for this, then it does go back to NUMA. But anyway, that allows them to get around some of the issues that I guess some data center gurus were having issues with, and they had to do some specialties to get the most performance out of the first gen. They did that to sort of fix that up.
Nice.
Yes, all I/O goes through that central chip, includes memory, includes PCIe, and
The data hub.
that's part of some of the upgrades, and then you also get further upgrades from the fact that we're on 7 nanometer now instead of 14, etc., etc. The article is very good. It's linked in the description if you guys want to check out a little bit more details on it, such as the PCIe 4.0 interface, another huge benefit because you get a ton more bandwidth, which is really nice for servers. And there's a bunch of capabilities when it comes to PCIe layout because you have 128 PCIe 4.0 lanes per processor. So that's pretty insane. And then you have a bunch of CPUs that are actually coming out. Here's the list of them. There are 17 of them. And at the top, you have the flagship, the EPYC 7742, right there, which has 64 cores, 128 threads, base frequency of 2.25 gigahertz, and a max. Details on it. 3.4.
Oh my God! Sorry.
Sweet mother of God, Kyle.
Wait, why does the video quality look so lousy?
Because you're probably streaming in low quality or something. Like
No,
that.
not the overall quality. Just like our white balance. Doesn't our white balance look a little weird?
I don't know.
Okay.
People aren't here for white balance, Kyle. They're here for the processors.
I saw someone in chat say white balance, so at least one person's here for white balance.
I'm sorry.
That's the only thing.
It's kind of washed out.
Well, move to that panel. That color accuracy on that thing sucks.
Yeah, but no one sees that.
No,
Everyone sees this. Everyone has shitty monitors.
Yeah, it's your monitor. Upgrade your monitor.
Get a better monitor with better color depth. So get some HDR up in your life, and maybe
look at $2,000 monitor.
Maybe you'll be able to see better the nuances and color contrast in our face.
Come join us up here.
I need more to drink.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Okay.
The show isn't disorganized enough yet. We need more booze.
That's true. Jeez.
Oh, they're saying just increase. I guess you could increase the. Let me try to do it while you do that.
Really?
Yeah. This is going to take 2 seconds. Watch. I'm really good at this. You just go to color,
you're gonna do the color?
then you do the contrast. Bada bing. Do a couple of those. And it should be good now.
Oh, totally fine now.
Right?
Look at that.
Did that do anything, chat?
I think that's probably great. Oh, you're going crazy with the contrast, Kyle. This is so contrast.
This is contrast, right?
So contrasty now.
It looks like it's the icon with the sun and moon.
People said better, yeah.
Oh, good.
It's a pretty contrast.
All right. Well, there you go. I don't know why that is any different than weeks prior because I haven't touched that.
I don't know.
In ages. It's XSplit. XSplit is like Windows. It just updates all the time, and then it changes shit on you every time it updates. Anyway.
All right.
See?
Brief aside there.
Quick and easy. Quick and easy, just like your mum.
Crisp apple cider from Angry Orchard.
It almost looks like we're drinking the same thing.
Kind of does, except yours hits a little harder, I'm willing to bet.
Smidge.
All right. Speaking of this list, as mentioned, it's like 17 processors available here, so you can see the core and thread count goes all the way down to 8. You can get an 8-core EPYC processor that still has 128 PCIe lanes somehow, which is kind of crazy. Pricing ranging from just under $500 all the way up to that top $6,950. Author wanted to specifically call out the 7502, which is highlighted here, 32-core 64-thread option. Which is $2,600, which is apparently going to be your bang for the buck option. He compared it to some of the past gen offerings that were available and whatnot. Anyway,
it's crazy.
There's also a chart further down here that gives some sort of side-by-side comparisons of the AMD second-gen EPYC processors and their comparisons on the Intel side as far as pricing there. So for instance, you have 28-core Xeons when it comes to the Xeon Platinum 8200, the top end of what's available on Intel side. You can see that's very expensive, $13,000 for their top chip, ranging from, I guess, the cheapest 28-core you can get is $11,722, whereas AMD is up here with its 64 cores at $7,000, just blowing all of this top range out of the water. It goes further down the stack when it comes to the core count and thread count and everything.
And how's the performance again between the two?
Performance we have not quite gotten to yet, but we're about to right now, just momentarily. The testing was done with the dual EPYC setup, by the way. because why use one 64 processor when you could potentially use 2 of them? Here's a look at the server
Why
itself.
not both?
Or the system that was set over to them. 225 watts is the TDP per chip, by the way, which is also quite reasonable. 2 EPYCs. Oh, sorry, this is the 7601 2U chassis. The dual EPYC 7742.
So there's 2 of them.
There's the stats for that.
Holy moly.
Anyway. All right, so when it comes to memory, tons of bandwidth available in the 7742, but that was also the case with last generation. But it's not just about how much memory bandwidth you have. Latency is also key. So when you go over the latency and you're talking about how much of the cache is being accessed and whether you're dealing with cache or whether you're dealing with actual DRAM, some very impressive performance from the EPYCs when you're dealing with very small sample sizes, 2 megabytes and less. But once you get up to the 16 to 32 range, suddenly your latency jumps pretty significantly up to there. And that is because the cache you're dealing with is the cache that's on each little chiplet. So there's 16 megs per chiplet. So when it does that, it's just accessing it from one. But when you start accessing more than 16 megabytes, suddenly it's got to go between them, and that introduces latency. And that's just one of the areas where Intel actually has an edge. But let's continue. Wait, I don't want to show this page. Let's look at some charts that are more easily digestible so we can get through this and move on. Here's performance multi-core spec CPU 2006. You can just look at this chart over on the, look at the right columns over here. Zen 2 versus Zen 1, and EPYC versus Xeon, plus 36, 88%, 72, 100, I'm sorry, 136%, 188%, 66%. So you can see the performance difference as listed over there. 7-zip. Look, here's some charts. Dual EPYCs, 314,000. Dual Xeons, 204,000. Remember, these are $7,000 processors compared to $13,000 processors on the Intel side. LZMA decompression. Look at this. The dual EPYC, the first gen EPYC was already winning with 222,000. It more than doubled the score.
That all those cores, probably.
Well, it's doubling the core count, and it's also improving the IPC. So that shows some insane performance boosting there.
That's insane.
Anyway, so it wins. It wins in pretty much all the performance testing over the dual Xeons. Significantly, I don't want to show all these charts because, you know, to give you guys some reason to go and read this article, because Johan did a great job on it. And actually managed to read the whole thing, which is cool too. All right, what else was I trying to point out? At the high, just some summary sentences. At the high end, with socketed x86 CPUs, AMD offers you up to 50 to 100% higher performance while offering it at a 40% lower price. Has AMD done the unthinkable, beaten Intel by such a large margin that there is no contest? For now, based on our preliminary testing, that is the case.
Wow.
He told a story earlier in the article about the tests that they performed. They weren't able to access his Intel system to do more updated tests, so all the tests he ran were against with existing numbers they already had for Intel. AMD expects to double their share in the server market by Q2 2020. Ice Lake is Intel's most promising response. That chip will be available sometime in mid-2020. Ice Lake promises 18% higher IPC, 8 instead of 6 memory channels, and should be able to offer 56 or more cores. But AMD has a timing advantage, and they have processors that are already available. So
gnarly.
See how that plays out in the future. The main reason I bring this up, if you guys are listening to all this stuff and being like, this is server stuff I don't care about, is because this directly translates to Threadripper 3 and the potential for Threadripper 3 and what that's going to be all about. And that is, albeit high-end desktop, that is still consumer-focused. They tend to be very expensive and all that kind of stuff, but it is kind of the it's the part of the consumer side of the PC market that I tend to get fairly excited about. And that is actually the question we're asking you guys. If you want to help give us a little feedback, it's available over on Straw Poll. Second gen EPYC is destroying Intel when it comes to both price and performance. If Threadripper 3 plays out the same way when it launches later this year, will you be building a system based on it? And you've got a few options for your responses there. Thank you all for voting on that. And also a shout out to our mods. Cell Processing is here. Crafty Hack is also here. Cheers to our mods. Thanks to you guys for helping us out.
Wifey's there too for moral support.
Wifey's also in there. So
thanks, guys.
And Cell is linking that Stropple in chat right now. It's also available in the video description.
Beautiful.
What was that noise? That was weird. All right, let's move on to some drama. Silly drama, internet drama.
Drama alert!
Ninja versus Twitch. Are you up with this? Have you heard about this?
I only heard that he moved to Mixer, and people are like, wow, he must have got paid a lot by Mixer, and wow, Mixer's numbers are way up now because Ninja moved there, but I don't know anything else.
So that was the first part of it, was him moving to Mixer.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was a way it could have gone down, but then Twitch had to go and basically screw with his channel. So Ninja is Tyler Ninja Blevins. Earlier this month, he left Twitch. He had been one of their top streamers, or I think the top streamer, had like 14.5 million subscribers on his Twitch channel. He left Twitch. His Twitch channel has gone inactive. He signed a contract with Mixer, which is owned by Microsoft. Now he's going to be exclusively streaming there. And so obviously it's a loss for Twitch. It's not like a huge loss. They have lots of streamers. They get lots of views. So it's not like suddenly they don't have anyone streaming or anyone watching their streams. But it is sort of a blow, I think.
Rocks the boat for sure.
Like on the PR side of things, because you know, they kind of scooped him away. And Mixer is a potential competitor. So you're talking about a sudden shift, or at least Mixer sort of getting more attention than they might have had otherwise. Now, all this might have been just fine, and people might have made their choices one way or the other when it comes to their feelings about this, but then Twitch did something that they don't do with any other streamers, which is they made a special inactive page for Ninja. So if you go to any inactive Twitch page, including Twitch streamers who are popular and have moved to other platforms, there's a default inactive thing where you can like see some of the channel stuff and everything. They made a special one just for Ninja that basically was promoting other Fortnite streams. They had it set up to automatically show popular Fortnite streams. Somebody started streaming porn and said they were streaming Fortnite. That stream got up, I was reading like 20,000 viewers or something like that, and suddenly was automatically fed onto Ninja's inactive Twitch page. So Ninja,
Twitch,
who, you know, there's both. There's kind of you could sort of view things from the Twitch side of things to the Ninja side of things when it comes to his decision to move to Mixer.
Right.
But then this prompted Ninja to go and actually speak out a little bit more publicly and a bit more openly about. And he did a. I'm not going to play it all back anyway. He did a short little like 1 minute thing where he says how disgusted he is that his Twitch page is now hosting porn.
Yeah, no, that's really fucked up.
Which is a very legitimate thing. He's got an image to maintain, and
he could lose,
all that kind of stuff.
He could lose millions and millions of dollars in brand deals just from this oversight by Twitch.
And he streams Fortnite, which is very popular with younger people. So,
unbelievable.
So yeah, that channel has been banned and all that kind of stuff, but the damage was already kind of done. And it gave Ninja sort of a platform to sort of speak out kind of against Twitch, whereas he, I think, was receiving maybe a little bit more flack kind of more recently because of that. So in the interim, the Twitch CEO, Emmett Shear, has tweeted his apologies to Ninja. What did he say? Our community comes to Twitch looking for live content and great porn. No. To help ensure they find great live channels, we've been experimenting with showing recommended contents across Twitch, including streamers' pages that are offline. Specifically one streamer, but that's the
What a stupid idea, though.
This helps all streamers as it creates new community connections. However, lewd content that appeared on the Ninja offline channel page grossly violates our terms of service, yada yada.
Is it, I mean...
What? Like so
I feel like it's unethical for them to do that. I feel like if a streamer's page is inactive and they're done, they're not going to stream there again, then just take the page down.
You're in luck, Kyle, because this is also tying into our Ask the Audience segment, and I have a straw poll here.
Good. I want to weigh in on this.
Where people can weigh in.
My opinion matters.
This is actually my favorite one because you can choose multiple answers, multiple choice options here, and I have quite a few options for people to choose. So just go down the list, and if any of those things that are written there apply to how you feel about the situation, then choose that and vote and let us know what you think. And then we'll come back to that, and it'll be great. It'll be really great. Now, in the meantime, we got Mixer over here. Mixer's just like, well,
we're just Mixer.
We just paid Ninja to come stream on our channel. We didn't do anything wrong.
Our hands are clean. Or are they?
Well, no. I mean, I don't have anything negative to say about Mixer.
I thought maybe it was going to get
this
juicy.
Market Realist article is pointing out that Mixer users have doubled. I think that might actually be kind of a misphrasing of it, though, by the folks over at Market Realist, which is a website I've never heard of before, so I'm going to take it off the screen. They're pointing out that according to Sensor Tower, which is a research firm that deals with this sort of thing, they estimate that Mixer will add at least 100,000 users in 1 week, 25 times more than their current amount of users, apparently. The deal immediately caused the number of Mixer downloads to increase. They doubled after the news, is what the article says. Although the article is not very well written, I realized that as I was reading it, so take it with a grain of salt. But it does, it stands to reason that Mixer now has more people talking about it, more people aware that even it exists as a platform. So good job, Microsoft. By the way, did you know Mixer is owned by Microsoft?
I do now.
Whose stock is up 35% year to date.
Hot damn.
They're trying to improve their prospects in the gaming side of things, because that's one of their business segments. It's not doing very well. Anyway, let's move on. There's a few more stories to talk about. Steam. Do you guys use Steam? Play games?
Yes.
Shouldn't. Uninstall it.
Damn it.
Burn your computer.
God. Everything sucks.
Just kidding. There was, however, a severe local zero-day escalation exploit found in Steam client services, which is kind of a big deal. This is actually from about a week ago. It was, posted on Wednesday of last week, and it was revealed by security researcher Vasily Kravitz. He released the zero-day vulnerability in the Windows version of the ubiquitous gaming service Steam. This trivially exploited security flaw allows any user local system privileges, which is significant. No. This vulnerability lies within the Steam client service as well, which might be launched by somebody who does not have administrator or local system privileges. That's another problem. And it is due to the way that Steam client service automatically sets permissions on a range of registry keys. More details in the article, but the vulnerability. It's a good word. Anyway, it's only 45 days old. In the gray hat, whatever, white hat worlds of finding security bugs and flaws in software, typically you would let the company responsible for the software know and then give them 90 days to do something about it before you were to publish something like that.
Right.
However, there's a bit of skullduggery or just not proper protocols taking place when the security researchers were attempting to contact Steam or their HackerOne, who actually handles bug reports for Steam.
I see.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Vasily, upon first reporting the bug to HackerOne, was rejected as out of scope. They told him attacks that require the ability to drop files in arbitrary locations on the user's file system are not a big deal. So they're saying the attack you're describing requires too much access to the machine. If the vulnerability you're talking about requires the person to be sitting there physically at the machine, you have other problems besides software. You have a problem with somebody you don't trust sitting at your computer.
Right. Get an alarm system.
Is the reason they're responding in that way. But what he's trying to point out is that that's not the case. A malicious game developer could post a game to Steam that somebody could download, like a free-to-play Steam game that you could download that could exploit this vulnerability.
Local access. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Anyway, there's not really a follow-up on it. Hopefully Steam is taking it a little bit more seriously at this point, and hopefully they smack around HackerOne and tell them to take stuff like this a little bit more seriously. You're probably not at fault. I mean, you're probably not at risk, but if you do happen to go on Steam looking for super bargains and free-to-play games that you've never heard of before just to try them out from time to time, then this is something that you might be concerned about. So keep that in mind. And if you are that person and you do tend to dabble in that area of Steam, maybe go and uninstall any recent games of that kind and keep an eye on this for future updates. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Oh yeah, this is a.
So you start seeing all these like really lame.
This is a
games
different
pop
security
up.
researcher, Matt Nelson, who posted. This is one of the response they gave him. He's asking if this is the right mailbox to send to. Please know, with some exceptions, our communications for issues reported through security is generally limited to acknowledgement of the report. And I don't know. He's saying.
I thought that game I downloaded, Assassin's Weed, seemed kind of suspicious.
Oh yeah. Well.
Right next to Hoarderlands.
Hoarderlands. All right.
It was only a 10-minute game. It seemed,
I have
odd.
I have a couple more stories to talk about, and then we will get to those Ask the Audience questions. We actually have one more Ask the Audience question as well to go over. Here is a video posted today, I believe. Today? Yeah, today's 13th.
Yep.
By our friends over at
Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Steve from Hardware Unboxed. He's been doing a bunch of investigation and further testing of a lot of new AM4 motherboards,
I love Steve.
which is really awesome. Basically, he took the $200 X570 boards and pitted them against each other, which includes boards from MSI, ASRock, Gigabyte, and Asus. And it's a good video. Again, link to the description if you want to check it out. I like his methodologies and everything. But if you note the title, he says, "Warning, one board sucks."
Which one is it? I hope it's not the one I just bought today.
It's the MSI.
The MSI what?
MPG X570 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi. Well, Gaming Edge or Wi-Fi. There's two versions of it. Is that the one you bought?
Wait, but the Wi-Fi, like one's good and one's bad?
No,
They're both
the
bad.
same. There's $10 difference between them. One has Wi-Fi.
That's the board I bought. I have to rethink I have to return it.
You might have to rethink that.
VRM?
Yeah, he specifically was talking about VRMs. He actually goes over the VRM layout for each board, including the Aorus Elite, which is a very, very high-end layout. And then he does temperature testing. So basically, look how hot the X570 Gaming Edge was running. Like a good 20 to 40 degrees hotter than all the other boards.
This is really interesting because the only reason I bought that board was because I was watching a Buildzoid video. And I think it was on the Gamers Nexus channel, and he was actually looking at that board and said, even though the VRM isn't the most efficient, the cooling solution that they have is pretty clever and very well done, and it compensates for the lack of efficiency, and it probably runs perfectly fine. And I was like, Buildzoid said it was good, I'm going to buy it. And now this.
I know Buildzoid has previously stated, just based on the VRM layouts, that pretty much all the $200 motherboards are like kind of pass his test when it comes to the choice of components and everything.
Right.
Steve is basically saying, unless he was actively cooling this motherboard with a 140 millimeter fan directly over the VRMs, it was getting insanely hotter performance than any of the other boards. And even with that active cooling kind of best case scenario on it, they were still running warmer than the other boards.
Wow.
So it just doesn't seem like the best choice if you're considering one of the $200 X570 boards.
Right. Does it say if he was using like his external thermal probes, or is he using software monitoring for his temp recording?
Multiple. He's
doing multiple.
He has a thermal probe on the back of the board. He has a thermal probe on the MOSFET.
Okay.
And then he's also taking the temperature from hardware info.
It'd be kind of interesting if maybe I keep the board and, like someone in chat suggested, maybe just try to test it and see if I find something similar.
You could. He did.
Maybe it's a one-off. Maybe it's an outlier.
He did state it's possible that his board,
yeah,
for some reason, is underperforming compared to other ones. And also worth pointing out, this board, like he's doing a long-term blender test to test these temperatures. Right. And he it's a good video. Again, watch the whole thing. But he points out it's not like the board's not going to function. It's still a functional board and everything like that. It's just if you have the option of your VRMs running 20 degrees cooler, you would probably make that choice. It's still running within spec and everything like that. But
what? He was using a 3900X with it. Okay.
Yeah, I think like a 1 hour blender.
Gotcha.
Although he didn't complete it on the MPG because it hit 125 degrees Celsius, and he didn't want to burn up his 3900X if that was going to be a possibility.
How interesting. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So here's the last Ask the Audience question to go along with that video, which is, did you go with a B450, X470, or X570 motherboard for your Ryzen 3000 build? I'm just curious what choices you guys have made out there, because there are X570 boards available that are good, that will work right, out of the box with the new series. But there's also a lot more budget-friendly options if you're willing to look at the 400 or even 300 series. So check those answers out. We'll get back to that in just a moment. One last news story here to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
HBM2E. HBM2E.
Giggity.
HBM2E has been revealed by SK Hynix. HBM2, high bandwidth memory, if you guys are not familiar, has been used on the consumer side in a few different graphics cards that AMD Radeon Technologies Group has produced. Those cards, they had their certain applications, but they didn't exactly blow anything out of the water. Vega 56 and Vega 64 are probably the ones that you guys are most familiar with. So it's a different take on how to do video memory. It's basically you have an insane massive amount of bandwidth, and that is part of what makes these new chips pretty impressive. A single one of these, and keep in mind you might have 2 or 4 of them attached to a processor. A single one of them has more bandwidth than an RTX 2080 on a single chip. 460 gigabytes per second per memory stack, up to 16 gigabytes of capacity per memory stack. So you can imagine 2 of those would give you 920 gigabytes per second and 32 gigs of HBM2E memory. The full implementation would offer 1,840 gigabytes per second. You'd have to. I have 1.84 terabytes per second of memory bandwidth on my.
Oh my god.
Of VRAM bandwidth on my graphics card, which is kind of crazy to think about. Again, by comparison, the RTX 2080 from NVIDIA, which is a very high-end card right now, which costs $700 and up, 8 gigs of GDDR6, and that's 448 gigabytes per second. 448, 460. It's already more than 2 times as fast as the HBM2 memory that was used on the Vega 56. SK Hynix believes that in 2020, the markets for HBM2E will start to open up. I don't know what that means as far as if they have any expectations for how it will be used, or if they know of any video card manufacturers who have products planned on it or anything like that.
We'll be talking about it briefly in my half.
Will we? Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah.
Is there a catch? What's the catch? Is there some secret hidden bottleneck?
The catch would be that AMD, I think, had a little bit more success with like their Frontier cards, which had more specialized use for like enterprise and workstation usage than it did for mainstream gaming. So just those products weren't that exciting because the comparative performance when you're just looking at how many frames per second can it get in the game I want to play wasn't always that good. They didn't always stack up very well when it came to the price compared to NVIDIA's offerings. So HBM was one of those things that was pretty exciting for like Vega and
Radeon 7.
Yeah, and then everything. But you know, it hasn't gotten gamers very excited simply because the performance isn't there with the GPUs it's been attached to. Or anyway, the graphics card that Kyle mentioned, the Radeon 7, has the most VRAM bandwidth of any card that's available on the market right now, which is just over 1 terabyte per second, 1,024 gigabytes per second. And again, 4 of these would give you 1,840 gigabytes per second, 80% more than that card.
Nuts.
My thought here was that Radeon, like with HBM, they're like, look at HBM, it's cool, it's all the bandwidth, and everyone's like, oh, it's kind of fun, but like I'm not excited. And then NVIDIA's like, RTX, look, ray tracing, you do the ray tracing and everything, and everyone's like, it kills my frame rate. Stupid.
But later, wait, these are all like cutting edge technologies that sometimes aren't optimized till long after they release.
True. Yes.
Maybe.
Okay, let's quickly go over my last bit here, and then I'll be done. All right.
Yay!
We have Ask the Audience, although our lower thirds for that I think is only at my house. We need to copy it over here.
So we're going to ask the audience.
Ask the audiences.
Very good, very good.
We're using Axe.
Yes, I forgot how large the X was.
Quite a nice hilt you have there. Anyway, all right, Ask the Audience. I am so curious about what your responses are. Let's start with our first question, going back to the 2nd Gen EPYC. Kyle, do you have any predictions to make here?
No, I don't.
Okay. I'm going to say
No,
an even
I don't
three-way split, 33% for each answer.
No, people are
exactly
gonna buy it.
is what we're going to get here.
Ryzen 3000 is too good.
Results.
Yeah, same.
People say, no, I don't really need it. Hey, 32% are very excited about the Threadripper 3.
We'll see how many of them buy it.
If I was AMD, then I'd be excited about that. We do have 5% saying, they want to still stick with Intel.
3% of those people will buy Threadripper 3.
Maybe. Who knows?
I just predicting.
Next question. Ninja, Twitch, Mixer. Super dramatic. Everyone's talking about it. That's why we did too. All right, which is going to win here of all these? Did you even read them all?
No. I would side with Ninja. He handled it well. I would side with Ninja.
With Twitch.
I would side with Twitch. Ninja shouldn't have abandoned the platform. I'm glad Mixer's doing well. Competition's good. Ninja's just selling out. Ninja can do whatever he wants to make that money. More power to him. Mixer's owned by Microsoft. I feel weird about that. Twitch should feature porn more often. Mixer sucks. Twitch is over party. I don't care about any of this.
Which is going to win?
Knowing our audience, it's either going to be I don't care about any of this or competition is good. Because we have reasonable viewers and fans who aren't caught up in the drama bullshit.
All right.
I could be totally wrong, though.
I'm pulling for Twitch should feature porn more often. So
that was my third choice.
Let's see who wins.
Yes!
I don't care. Oh, wow.
No one gives a shit. Great. We can all move on.
I don't give a damn. I was going to put that higher up, but I had more people would vote for it. Other than that,
I think sometimes when you put it as last, it gets a lot of votes too, because it's like fresh in their mind. Like, yeah, it's definitely the last one.
People do feel that Ninja should be able to do whatever he wants. People are happy that Twitch is getting a bit of competition with Mixer. People seem to be siding with Ninja. Twitch should feature porn more often. Then it drops way off by like 100 votes. So I think those are our main responses. This is the bulk of what most people are feeling about this, and I think it's important that we've discovered that.
I think most people agree that Twitch fucked up here.
Yeah. All right. Final question: did you go with B450X, 470X, 570, or any of the other options here for your Ryzen 3000 build? Kyle, I'm going to say winner will be B450.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay.
I think runner-up will be X570.
Well, if you were smart, you would have chosen the last answer. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Also, people seem to be.
But I don't think that's going to be up there.
Why you gotta call me an asshole? I'm just asking. It's very simple.
Oh yeah. Oh, Ryzen 3000. I thought you meant just Ryzen in general.
3000.
Oh yeah.
So that's a very obvious answer.
Oh, X570 actually beat it up, though.
X570 won, though.
But that makes sense, though, because if that many people don't have a Ryzen build to begin with, or a Ryzen 3000 build, then it makes sense that if they're starting from scratch, more or less, they would go X570 to begin with.
Yeah. And we got X570, B450, X470.
But if you were upgrading, yeah.
Only one vote for other. I wonder what they used. Curious. Is this
A320?
A320, I guess. I knew there were others. I didn't want to have to try to figure it out or anything.
No.
All right, no B550 as of yet. And I feel like at one point they said there isn't going to be B550, but then I've also heard that there is going to be B550, so I'm not really sure about that.
It's more money. I think it'll happen.
Yeah, I mean B550 with PCIe Gen 4 I think would be a strong recommendation. If you could get solid boards for like 120 to 150 bucks, it would be a sort of a slice of the market that isn't. Anyway, all right, that's all for my half of the show.
Great.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed it. Woo-hoo. Big shout out and thank you to Your Everyday Tech, who has been very consistently making timestamps for our videos, which we really appreciate. I'll pin those down there when they're available, and click the links in the description if you want to read any of these stories, or if you want to head over to Cal's half of the show, or if you're watching on Twitch, stay right where you are.
Beautiful.
Okay. We'll be right back, guys.
Bye.